Welcome to this month Inside Sim Racing September edition. I'm Darren Ganji here with my good buddy
Sean Cole, and
we're going to change this format again. I mean, we seem to be always doing that.
We do that more than we do shows.
Yeah, I think so. And what we're going to do is, we kind of alluded to this a little bit before, but we're going to do little mini reviews now back in this show, kind of going back to our roots, where we'll have a variety show along with our individual reviews. Our bigger ones. So some of the items here, or one of the items here, will be reviewed today on the show, and then these others we're just going to talk about and let you guys know. Something else that we're going to be doing, we're moving to a new site.
Yeah. Well,
not moving to.
Yeah, the site is changing.
Yes. And so is our format for the most part as far as the site goes. And why don't you tell them a little bit about it, Sean?
Well, this is a really big deal. This is bringing you more of that current news in conjunction with what you have always known us for, which is the in-detail videos. And we're going to combine the two into one tremendous resource center for sim racing.
Yep. So we'll have that. We're beta testing it right now. Got some images for it of it for you here, and hopefully we'll have that up and running soon.
The other nice thing about this website, though, we've got so many years of incredible content that have been virtually impossible to find.
Yep.
Now we have some very, very powerful search tools, some very strong categories, some great ways chronologically to go back in time and find things on the show, and that's going to be great for everybody.
Yeah, and we've always had a module on our homepage that had links from sites like BSim Racing, Virtual R, GT Planet, stuff like that. We're going to actually integrate a lot of their stories into our homepage and our current news. So we'll have stories from them on a daily basis, stories from us that we'll be posting, stories from our forum. I see great stuff on our forum every day that I'd like to share with the rest of the world. I just, a lot of times, sometimes we do here on the show, but a lot of times it just slips through the cracks. But I like to be able to just flip a switch and share it with the world. So we're going to have that up and running soon, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But let's get to the show. Yep. And it's going to be this review on this Sim Instruments Dash. And we have both a standalone version and one for the Club Sport wheel. And I'd like to thank them for sending us both of these to check out. So I'm the one that actually did a review on these, and we're going to roll that for you right now.
The Sim Instruments Dash includes the Dash hardware and Sim Instruments software. Just plug it into your PC with the supplied USB cable, run the install wizard. It incorporates multiple display devices in one hardware solution, including gear indicator, RPM shift indicator, LCD digit display with an RGB backlight. The technical specs of the Dash hardware are: the Dash unit is 120 by 58 by 11 millimeters. The gear indicator includes one blue LED digit that's 12 by 18 millimeters. The timing digits are two 6 red LED digits that are 39 by 11 millimeters. It has 15 LEDs, 5 green, 5 red, and 5 blue that act as the RPM shift indicators. And it has 2 RGB and 4 yellow LEDs that act as warning lights. It also includes the LCD screen that we mentioned is an RGB backlight 32 character screen, and it's 83 millimeters by 19 millimeters. We received 2 versions of the Sim Instruments, one that mounts directly to the Fanatec Club Sport wheel and one that you can mount anywhere. They are made in Australia and currently work with iRacing with plans for other titles as well. They go for about $160 and are shipped worldwide, with shipping being additional based on your location. Since the mount for the Club Sport wheel works perfectly with 80/20 tubing, I used it with my rig. It mounted up perfectly to a piece I was using for my Z1 Sim Dash, and Sim Instruments provided 2 M6 bolts that work great. They also have standalone displays and mounts that you can buy separately if interested. If you do have a Club Sport wheel to use with it, it mounts nicely at the top of the base. Here's what the Sim Instrument Dash will do. The telemetry output options include sector splits, delta times, speed, fuel usage, track position, in-car and in-race warnings, gear indicator, RPM shift indicator, time to next car ahead, time to next car behind, and the lap number. The LCD is fully customizable in regards to how the telemetry is displayed. It can be configured through the drag and drop Sim Instruments software to display telemetry on various positions on the display. It's possible to change the color of the LCD for a range of in-car and in-race telemetry and events including RPM, delta times, split times, and yellow flags. The RPM shift indicator can also be configured for each LED to light up sequentially in line with the car's revs or in a 3-stage configuration. Full warning light customization is also available through the Dash's bank of 6 warning lights. The 4 LEDs can be customized to display various in-car warnings, including low fuel and high temperature. These types of displays are best when using triple screens or a very close-up field of view. Some people ask what's the point when a lot of this information can be displayed on screen in most sims, and it usually is. But it's nice to be able to put it where you want and free up that viewing space for racing. These displays are high quality, with the only current drawback being software compatibilities with titles other than iRacing. You can go to siminstruments.com to check out this dash and other dash components that James and Brendan make. We'd like to thank them for sending us these dashes to check out, and we'd highly recommend them if you're looking for an all-in-one external dash solution.
All right, so I'd like to thank James and Brendan of Sim Instruments for hooking us up with these, and really nice quality stuff.
It is. I like the way they look. Very high-tech look for, you know, so many variations, but I do like this one a lot.
Later on the show, someone's going to win one of those. We have our 120 Minutes of Thunder prize list, and I'd like to thank those guys for putting up one of these as a prize as well. So we're going to be giving one of those away later on the show. Next up, we have probably, well, we always say this, but this actually, you know what I can't say about this guy? This is probably the most detailed Simrig build and discussion that we've had from one guy. It's from a guy named Kevin Joette of North Vancouver, Canada. And he's been sharing his ever-evolving cockpit with us in our forums since June. And what a transformation, you know, from a play seat, you know, with some stuff, some goodies that he had, to this.
This fully evolved rig that sort of stems from a play seat still.
Yeah, exactly. The seat's still a play seat. In mid-2012, he managed to catch the same bug that all of us have, the major sim racing bug. Kevin took it to another level, though. He started with a G27, a PS3, and a Sony 3D monitor mounted to the office desk. And every mile he drove, he wanted more.
In the very beginning, it starts with a simple play seat and a wheel and pedal set attached to that. But as he said, that wasn't good enough.
Well, and actually, he doesn't even show the picture of his G27. He has already his first evolution, which is a CSR, Club Sport pedals.
Yeah.
And a full shifter array. He had 2 shifters set up.
Well, and a whole side pod for the shifter already built into it as well.
Yep.
And from there, you can see he just kind of went nuts. And he's got kind of a Ricmo Tech shape.
Yep.
But it's his own design for sure. And it's an entire chassis built to put his playseat seat into.
And that wheel deck is built around the Club Sport wheel.
Yeah, completely. So, I mean, we're talking like that arcade type feel when you get into his rig.
Yep, arcade console. Chassis. Well, by the way, we've decided that we want to start calling sim rigs, and we can't take complete credit for it because we had and this is something we were going to talk about later in the show anyway, we had an interview today with Tony Gardner of iRacing. Sean did, and it just went really cool. But he called sim rigs chassis.
Yeah.
Sean and I have never liked how we call them cockpits, rigs. Chassis.
It's a chassis.
Sim racing chassis. So KJ has built this sim racing chassis to just have everything just so tightly integrated. I mean, just from how the curves that go around the Club Sport wheel, and he's got his play seat, you know, the butt kicker still mounted under the play seat. So I mean, it's just
his audio controls on the dashboard. He's got the total, like, you know, the crisscross, the diamond plate under the pedals. I mean, he's really put a lot of attention to detail in it, and it's very chassis feeling.
Yeah, part of his story here, he says, I started off as I'm just popping out to grab a few sheets of plywood. What's really cool about Kevin and what he's done with this is he shared, you know, the evolution of it. And he even talked about he had some issues with the Fanatic wheel and how he fixed those, and just a really cool chronicle of Kevin's sim rig. Just a really bitchin' rig.
Well, what I love about it is that I think all of us can relate to this, but not a lot of us took the time to chronologically lay it out even for ourselves. And it's like, I think back to my early days. Well, I started out on a desktop, you know, with just a simple monitor. And, you know, now my rig is so elaborate, but it's like, that was a whole process for me, evolution. And he's gone through it, and he's made it so everybody can see it. It's awesome.
So Kevin, thanks for sharing your rig with all of us in our forums. And if you'd like a Inside Sim Racing Simrig Sim Racing chassis sticker, I don't even want to call it a bumper sticker because most people are putting them on their Sim Racing chassis. Email Sean at shaun@insidesimracing.tv and we'll get you one of those, maybe even two because it's such a cool rig.
I agree.
As soon as possible. And if you'd like to join in on the conversation with Kevin, we'll have a link to this thread in our description and you can give Kevin props and maybe go in there and get a closer look yourself and read his whole story because we use a little bit of it as our script here, but you can get a better idea of it. Go in and check it out yourself. So again, Kevin, thanks for sharing that with us.
And job well done. And he did one other thing that we're always talking about, which is your rig is your rig. So I don't care what you started with or what you bought. It's about drilling it. It's about making things the way you want it to be.
Yep. I mean, I like how he's got the
underlighting.
Yeah.
That'll
Really
be
cool,
on
huh?
That'll be on my rig next.
Cop doing some research and development.
Yeah,
R&D.
yeah,
Rip
R&D.
off and stealing that from our web guru. All right, so next up, 120 Minutes of Thunder. Huge event for us, and I think this turns out to be our biggest draw. 993 drivers took place in the second annual 120 Minutes of Thunder at Watkins Glen International, and it's hosted by iRacing, and we didn't run it this year.
No, we both ran into our own trouble that prevented us from being able to run in the race.
Yeah, in a nutshell, we just weren't prepared, and I didn't want to take a chance of taking somebody out and their opportunity or even causing an incident for them and blowing their opportunity at one of our many prizes that we have here. So we didn't run, but 993 drivers did, 25 total splits, 20 in Pro through C and 5 in the D through Rookie. So quite a bit of drivers there.
A lot of people took place in this and a great diversity with the 3 car classes. That being said, Rookie through D had more of an equal split of cars than the top split, having 13 DPs, 12 McLarens, and 13 Caddies. While the Pro through C split saw 7 Caddies with 17 DPs and 17 McLarens.
But before we get going, we got to thank all the people that made this possible, starting with iRacing.com. This was the best special event to date.
Yeah.
Everything went off without a hitch, on time, all the servers correct, everything. So thank you, iRacing, for setting everything up for us, because without them, none of this would have been possible, to be honest.
No, when you think about that many races simultaneously, 993 people, and everything went perfect. 25
different splits taking place all at the same time. So that could be a record in itself.
Yeah.
I'm sure iRacing's done it, but you know, an organized private event like that, and again, without iRacing, we probably wouldn't have had half as many because we're tapping into their membership. But so let's talk about the other people that made things possible. ETV Live, full broadcast of the race, which, speaking of which, we'll have a link to that in the description of this show. You can watch that. They did it through YouTube, which was really cool.
Like live. I mean, and that was one of the best broadcasts I've ever seen, let alone being an online race.
Great job by ETV Live. I'd like to thank them for doing that. And now our sponsors. Great prize list, huge prize package. Fanatic CSL seat, Grandstand wheel stand, Sim Instruments dash that we talked about earlier on the show.
Tabia put up 2 different models. Sim Experience putting up 2 different licenses for Sim Vibe. Derek Spear Designs had a Track Boss that was being given away.
Track Boss Button Box. Main Performance PCs put up a solid state drive. iRacing has put up 2 $50 credits. We didn't have that in the original prize list, but we got 2 extra prizes to give away there. IGP Manager, we have 2 1-year license codes. And Thrustmaster, TH8 RS shifter.
And Bug Kicker's giving away a gamer as well.
Yep, so probably one of our biggest prize packages today. Also, every winner, so all 25 winners of those, well no, 75 winners, all 75 class winners are eligible for an Inside Sim Racing bumper sticker. And you're going to have to claim your prize to get it. We're not going to come after you because there's 75 of you guys. You want a Inside Sim Racing bumper sticker, tell us the split you want in, send us a link to it, and with your mailing address, and we'll get you out a sticker. And congratulations to all 75 of you guys. Unfortunately, we can't name all of you, or
We'd be here for a long time.
Yeah, we would be here for a long time. But we are going to name some of you guys. And that being said, why don't we get back to the top split? I think they deserve it. The top split recap. We had 17 Daytona prototypes, 17 McLarens, and 7 Cadillacs. Would have liked to have seen a more
rounded.
Yeah, but unfortunately we didn't get that.
Mitchell DeJong and George Sandman were the class of the field for the first 40 minutes until both of them ran their first pit stops.
And you know what? I actually personally thought that was a little odd because in my calculations, I figured I could finish the race on 1 tank of fuel, even though we didn't race. But I did start strategizing a little bit, and I was thinking, wow, they're pitting a little early.
Right.
They're going to have to pit twice, and then Rosselli stayed out. And I'm thinking, is he going to stretch it?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So obviously Rosselli then inherited the lead and then went on to pit slightly after the halfway mark.
Yep, so he was setting himself up for the win.
Yeah.
If he didn't have any, at that point when I was watching, I thought, he's got this race. If he doesn't make any mistakes and doesn't get caught up in any, and that's the other thing. Multi-class racing, 2 hours, anything can happen.
Yep.
So.
Well, and part of that fuel strategy comes down to where you are track position for me.
Yeah. Definitely. Then with about 35 minutes to go, DeJong and Sandman pitted again after taking the lead, because when Rosselli pitted, those 2 guys took the lead again. So 35 to go, DeJong and Sandman went into the pits, relinquished the lead to Rosselli, and then DeJong did all he could in that last stint and was cutting the gap every lap, but just ran out of time. Didn't make it. I think he got within like 5 seconds. Yeah, so I love the fact that this race came down to a fuel strategy. You know, just that in itself just made it, in my opinion, worth, you know, since we didn't get to race in it, I really enjoyed watching that play out. So that was really neat.
Now in the McLaren class, there was an incredible battle between Dylan Sharman and Enzo Benito that went back and forth, lap after lap, until Enzo lost the handle in the boot section and took a Cadillac driver, Kevin Parrish, with him. That gave Dylan Sharman the lead.
And in the Cadillac division in that top split, Jason Mitzi was the man to beat and ran a great race and ended up taking home top honors in that class. So great overall race, and
exciting racing in that one.
It was. Sure. You know what? None of those 3 are eligible for prizes, though.
Yeah, well, that's the way it worked. Well, let's talk about prizes. We got a lot of them to give away, but it wasn't that easy to be eligible, was it?
No. To be eligible, you had to run incident-free. And, you know, we can't change it this time because the rules were set. But next race, I think a 1 times is going to be okay. Because I think putting a tire off, you get a 2 or a 4 times where you could make contact with another car or hit the wall hard or something. I think, so 1 times guys would have, like Dylan Sharman, he had a 1 times. So, sorry Dylan, you're not eligible. But yeah, you get a bumper sticker if you want. And I think Dylan's won.
He's won before. He's won prizes before.
He has. So, congratulations, guys. Not to take away from your wins. You guys did a kick-ass job. So, congratulations to all 3 of you. And the top 3 in each class, honestly, actually, which we have, our top 3 in each class from that race. There was another top split, though, and that was the rookie through D. And the winner in the DP class was Nicholas Sadowski. And in the McLaren, Aiden Walsingham. And in the Cadillac, and that was a little bit of work in that Cadillac, 13 caddies. We had an even spread in the rookie through D. Dalton Petrello is the winner in the Cadillac in the rookie through D. Top split. 5 splits in that division.
Is that the guy you were telling me about who...
No, okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Hold on, we got some more. I got some great stats from this race. 8 drivers from the top split are eligible. None of them, we mentioned, were the winners in class, because all of them had at least 1 incident point. And we had 1 DP driver, 5 McLarens, and 2 caddies. And I think that was the split that had the most eligible drivers. 62 total eligible drivers that went incident-free on the day.
That's not bad if you think about what.
Out of 993, that's less than 10%, but still, that's a... Yeah. Congratulations to all 62 of you drivers, and we'll list you here. We'll show you guys, at least on screen. That's a feat in itself. And by the way, these are just a lot of fun facts for the race. We're sorry if we didn't touch on your particular split. We wish we could talk about everyone and some things that happened in everyone. Speaking of which, go on YouTube, type in 120 minutes of thunder. I can't believe how many videos there are from this event. And just thanks for sharing, guys, out there with your events. So
absolutely. So speaking of facts or fun facts from this whole event, when you look at the fourth split, the entire podium of DP runners, they all went incident-free. So you had, you know, all three of the top placing guys did it perfectly.
And those guys were probably battling too. So good job, fourth split. And again, good job all 62 of you guys. And good job to all the winners and podium finishers. And thanks to all 993 of you for taking your time out of that Saturday and racing with us. So what else we got here? Only 2 drivers eligible in the rookie through D. So we had 5 splits, about 40 drivers a split.
Yeah, that's 200 people.
Yeah, and only 2 drivers were eligible. So
that sounds like mayhem.
There was some carnage down there.
Push to pass.
Yeah, David Otterson, who drove a DP in the top split and should have probably been in the upper class with an I rating that's higher than mine with my A-class license.
Oh my.
He has a 2400 I rating. And then, now this is my favorite fact from the race. This is the one, yeah, you started to bring up. Okay, so Petey Zeller from New York went incident-free in the very bottom split, okay? So the 25th split, the 5th split in the rookie through D class. Driving a Cadillac, okay? He won that race in the Cadillac, trying to avoid, and I'm sure he didn't have to avoid all of these, 643 600. What were you guys doing in that race?
Wow.
Was that even a race?
No. Did they finish? Some of them finished though.
Petey did, incident free.
Wow.
And now let's compare that to the top split in Pro through C. Still a lot of incident. We're talking 2 hours of racing, you know, 40 drivers, 3 different classes on a tough track to pass.
3 classes is very difficult.
Yeah, 3 different classes. 148 incidents in the top split. And I didn't go, I should have gone through and seen which split had the least amount. Maybe, hey, someone go through and check that for us. That'd be great. Post it in the, you know, on our comments here. But 148 incidents in that top split. So that is one of my favorite facts. And man, Petey deserves, Petey, you get a bumper sticker too. So he did win class. So Petey, get a hold of us, man. We're gonna send you a couple. But he gets the award for best avoidance.
Yeah, hard
and he
charger.
raced, because he won, and he raced against 13 other caddy drivers or
Good
so.
point.
So there's all the fun facts that we could come up with. I'm sure there's others that we could have dug and found out, but that we'd go forever. Let's get to the prizes. You had to be registered at our forums too, so we're going to be checking that as we call names, and your name might be eliminated if we don't see you in our forum, mainly because we need to be able to reach you. So, actually, no, you need to reach us. October 15th is going to be the deadline to get in contact with us to claim your prize. Because honestly, after that, things get confusing and we're not sure who's been. So you need to contact us. We're going to post this in a bunch of different places. So we're going to have 15 different winners and 15 different prizes to give away. Not 15 different. There's 2 of each of a couple of them. But here we go. Here's all 15 different winners and the prizes that they've won. And our top prize, the Fanatic CSL seat, goes to 20-year-old Arkadiusz Newman from Poland, who was in the Riley DP, and he was in the 4th split, and he came in 2nd place.
The next prize is the Grandstand Wheel Stand, and that goes to Robert Turner of California, who happens to be the oldest winner, coming in at 48, and he ran in the Riley DP and came in 2nd place of the 10th split.
Next prize is a Sim Instruments Dash, and it goes to Dave Judson, and he's 29 years old from Ohio, and he drove the Riley DP 1st in the 11th split.
Next winner of a Thrustmaster TH8 RS shifter is Ryan Hill. He's 18 years old from Virginia Beach, and he came in 1st place in the Cadillac in the 2nd split.
Next up, Butt Kicker Gamer 2, and it goes to Paul D. Jackson, who's 30 years old from the UK, and he came in our first McLaren driver, came in 2nd in the 12th split.
Next is one of 2 Sim Experience Sim Vibe licenses, and the first one goes to Luis Figueiredo of Brazil, who's 39 years old and finished in 2nd place in the 18th split McLaren.
And the second winner of a Sim Vibe Sim Experience license is Yuta Saito from Japan, who's our youngest winner at 16 years old, and he drove a Cadillac in the 17th split and won.
Next prize is a Derek Spear Designs Track Boss button box, and that goes to Alvaro Ramiro, 29 years old, from Spain.
Next, we have two $50 iRacing credits, and the first one goes to Thomas Dudek, who's 44 years old, from Kingsford, Michigan, and he drove the McLaren in the 10th split and finished 5th.
And the next one goes to David Otterson, 28 years old, from Australia, and he is one of only 2 drivers from the Rookie D splits to be eligible for prizes.
Next up, we have 2 Tamiya models. The first one is a Mazda 787B, and it goes to Justin Gardner of Dayton, Ohio. He's 28 years old, and he drove a Caddy in the 13th split and finished 2nd.
We also have another Tamiya model, the McLaren M8, and that goes to Craig Capon of Eugene, Oregon. He's 39 years old, and he drove in the Cadillac in the 14th split and was the only driver eligible in that entire split for a prize.
Next up, we have the main Performance PC solid state drive, and that's going to go to Jan Paul Neuhaus of Germany, and he's 27 years old, and he was 3rd in his Cadillac in the top split.
And our final prizes will be 2 different codes to IGP Manager, a full 1-year subscription. The first one goes to Jonathan Nailed, who's 19, from England, and he finished in 4th place in the 8th split of the DP class.
And our final winner of the IGP Manager 1-year subscription and final prize winner in the 120 Minutes of Thunder is Billy Smith II from Texas. He's 25, drove a Caddy, 2nd place finish in the 17th split. Well, there you have it. Congratulations, guys. Thanks again to everybody who entered. Sorry to the guys that didn't win, but thanks for at least trying. And 62 drivers, that's pretty cool.
And thanks to all those companies for putting up that incredible prize list, our biggest one ever. And I think this is the event to build upon, because not only from the prizes, but the 993 drivers, I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, next year's happening for sure. We have to race in next year's. And yeah, the 120 Minutes of Thunder seems to be a regular. Yeah, it's now an annual event. So proud to put it on and glad everybody seemed to enjoy it. There seemed to be some great racing going on out there. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this show. We have a few things coming up. People have been asking about these. We have the Ricmo Tech load cell brake mod for the G27, and this apparatus that just looks amazing.
I don't even want to let you touch it. It's like, no, I'll keep that one over here.
Yeah, this is going to be Sean's. This is another brake mod by Total Spanish Simulator, and we'd like to apologize to both these guys, all 3 of these guys, Sim Instruments, who we reviewed earlier, for the delay in these. We just had a lot of stuff going on with the development of our new website and Gamescom and just so much different.
So much.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think there's a different version of this. I'll have to talk to these guys, but this thing is just beef.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to reviewing those.
That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Mentioned an interview with Tony Gardner coming up, which just was a lot of fun. Tony's a great guy and told us some stuff that we weren't expecting.
Loose lips. Tony Loose Lips Gardner.
Yep. We have F1 2013 coming up soon. WRC4's coming. Xbox One Thrustmaster wheel. We're going to have that on the show very soon. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Visit us at our website, isrtv.com, and join in on the conversation on our forums. Check out our new website. Hopefully, I'd say by the end of October, we'll have that up.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll talk about it on the next show. For Sean Cole, I'm Darren Ganji. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time.